Okay. Well, hi there. Thanks for having me here. I should first start to mention that it's my first talk over Skype, and it is my first talk in English. So, if you have trouble understanding me, just ask me to rephrase the question. I am a youth worker in the church, in the local church. So I did some Bible studies and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of used to talk to audiences, but never in English. So just ask if you don't understand me. Well, let's start by introducing myself. My name is Vincent from Brummen, and I'm here to talk about Adam's Venture, about the creation of Adam's Venture. It's a game I've worked on a couple of years ago, and it's a so-called Christian adventure game. The game contains 3 episodes in about a total of 6 to 8 hours gameplay. It was first released in retail shops in Europe, like the Netherlands, Germany, Russia. Later it was released on Steam. I think most of you will know it. It's the biggest online platform to buy games. And eventually it's released on the PlayStation Network on the PlayStation 3, so we're pretty proud of that. When I say Christian adventure game, it's you should understand that it's not a game to convert people. It's a game made for entertainment. So there is the Christian values, of course. You won't encounter any sex or violence or swearing or stuff like that. And it's mainly used to entertain people, to have a nice time. That's what we try to put into the game. And of course, the story has some biblical references throughout. So. Well, Adam's Venture, I welcome there. Adam's Venture was created at Vertigo Games. Me, myself, I'm the lead artist of Vertigo Games. That means I'm responsible for all the art, for all the art that's in the game. So everything you see, is made by me, or I helped create it. And I'm also responsible for all the special effects, like the lights, particles, everything. So we're a pretty small studio. Right now we have about 10 people. For those of you that, and we were based in the Netherlands. For those of you that don't know where the Netherlands is, it's a really small country. We have about 15 million people, I think. And yeah, it's in between Germany and England. I was going to make a little joke about what we are and what we did, our biggest achievements the last couple of weeks. And I was going to tell you that we became 3rd in the World Cup Soccer in Brazil. We actually beat Brazil, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, right now you already asked about the plane crashing down, and it kind of overshadows everything. So it was really bad. Why did we create a Christian game? The idea started about 9 years ago with my colleague Richard. Back then he would first become my boss. What we wanted to create was a AAA Christian game. So a game that would be in the stores next to games like Call of Duty. Only with some the Christian values, and not also the game was meant for entertainment. So Richard, my colleague, started with 6 people in a living room. One of them was my brother, who got me a job over there a year later. All of the guys were going to church, and they talked about the project in the church, and they found some people ready to invest. And so the company grew from around 6 people to 35 people, including me, so that was really nice. We worked at the game for 3 to 4 years until the economical crisis, crisis in 2008, and it bankrupted our biggest investor, and that's why the whole company stopped. So that was a bit of setback. But we wanted to continue. So together with my colleague Richard and another colleague, we founded Vertigo Games. We got to buy the IP of the former company. So that means everything that was created in those 3 years, we own it right now. So we had the whole game, but it was far from finished. The problem was to finish the game. It would take at least 2 years and around 30 people. So yeah, we were 3 people and some interns, so we were not going to do it. At the end of the former company, when yeah, we already noticed things going down a little bit, so we started working on smaller projects, tried to make some quick money, maybe save the studio. Well, that failed, but one of the projects we created was Adam's Venture. Adam's Venture is basically a game that contains one level of the bigger game, and it was just cave levels. Well, that was something we could manage with a small team, so we finished the game, and around that time we started to search for some publishers. Well, one of the first things we heard was that there was no story in the game. Basically, you're just a guy in a cave, you solve 7 puzzles, and you walk through a door at the end, and that's it. There was no cutscene, no background story, nothing. So we invented the story. We came up with some side characters. The first character was a female character called Evelyn Appleby, and there was a professor called Jacques Saint Omer, and there was Adam's faithful dog Digger, and of course the main character was called Adam's Venture. I think in Dutch the name sounds a bit funny, maybe in English it's a bit lame. The game doesn't take itself too serious, so that maybe explains a little bit why we have strange names. Another thing to mention is that the faithful dog Digger, we kind of forgot about him in the first game. He was there in the first scene. We forgot that the Digger was there, so it wasn't in the last scene, so Digger got lost somewhere halfway through the process.
Not very faithful.
So that was too bad for a dog. We finished the game in maybe 1 or 2 months. We thought, let's sell the game, and that was the first problem we encountered, because yeah, it's something new. It's a Christian game, and there isn't really a market for it, especially in Europe. In Europe, it's not really mainstream to be Christian. There are some Christian bookshops and stores, but yeah, they're really small. They're maybe as big as my living room, and I think maybe it's like a quarter of the room you're in right now, so it's really small. And we talked to a lot of publishers like Codemasters, Atari, and Integrity Publishers. I think you know it. It's a publisher in the States. And yeah, we found out that nobody wanted to take the leap of faith, so that was a bit of a setback. And with Vertigo games, things were the same. It was, yeah, the market was too new, and it was around the time of the crisis, so nobody was really ready to invest in something new. But in the end, we just continued searching. We just wanted to do something with it, and we found a Dutch book publisher called ASAP, and later a non-Christian publisher called Iceberg. Together with them, we released a game on Steam. Sorry, not on Steam. We released a game on PC, a retail version. Back then, it was just one part, maybe 2 hours of gameplay. Another setback we had was that around the time that the Christian publisher was about to pay his royalties, the guys went bankrupt, so that was another thing to deal with. That didn't really stop us from creating the second part of Adam's Venture. We had some feedback on the game, the first game. And one of the feedback we got was, yeah, it's just in caves. There's not enough to see, it's just all the same, maybe just a little bit, you know, make it bigger, make more environments and stuff. So we flew Adam to Jerusalem, and it takes part in Jerusalem near the Awakening Wall and underneath the Temple Mount. A funny fact to mention is we looked at photos from Jerusalem. The game takes place in 1930, so we looked at all kind of old pictures, and since we have the Temple Mount in there, I think you know that there's the Dome of Rock is over there. That's the big temple with the golden roof. But around that time, in 1930, the roof was black. There was no gold. It's done somewhere in the 60s, I think. So yeah, that's something you find out when you do research. So it's pretty cool. It took us about a year to finish. We funded the game ourselves. 2 of my colleagues went to a school. They teach over there. It was a game education. We did it a combination. They teach over there, and they got the students over there to create levels for Adam's Venture, so that was pretty cool. We did a kind of crossover thing. I worked on I was in the studio and worked on it full time. It took us about a year to finish it, and I worked together with 5 interns, so in total maybe 10 people's worked on the game, so it's a relatively small team. When the game was finished, yeah, we still didn't have enough money. It didn't make enough money to support the game studio, because yeah, we need around 5 people who need food at the end of the day, and we weren't making enough money, so we kind of abandoned the project, or we wanted to abandon the project. But our publisher, Iceberg, they told us, yeah, it would be cool if you have a trilogy, because it sells better. It's, you have a finished game. So we did that, and they paid up front, which was really nice. And we split the cost of creating the third part. We finished it in about 4 to 5 months, which was a bit faster. We learned a lot from the second part of Adam's Venture, especially about how do you create a game and how do you manage a game. So yeah, that was, we did it a lot better. We did a lot better game design, at least that's what we think. It was first in Adam's Venture 2 we created a lot of levels, just big levels, and then later on tried to fit in some puzzles. Now we did it the other way around. First create some puzzles, and let's say we have like 5 levels, and we wanted 3 unique puzzles in every level, and then just create the level around the puzzle. So yeah, we did it a bit different, and I think it worked out pretty fine. What was pretty cool that the game made it on Steam. Yeah, we did not mention that it was a Christian game on Steam, because we tried it with the first one, and Steam doesn't want any games that have anything to do with religion, period. They don't want Christian games or Muslim games, it's just they don't want any religion. And about a year ago, there was another Dutch publisher called PlayLogic, and they were looking for games for PlayStation Network on the PlayStation 3, and together with them we ported the game for the PlayStation, which was also a lot of work, because PlayStation has a lot of demands. Steam is just, you finish the game and you can play through the game and you can finish it and it won't bug a lot and you can just reach the end and it's okay. But PlayStation really needed to have a lot of test sessions, and they were really complaining about how one shoe of Adam would stick a little bit into a rock somewhere, and yeah, it was a bit of hassle. So. But eventually we did it. So in the end, I think Adam's Venture sold around 100,000 copies, or close to it. It sold around 100,000 copies in the total time, how to say it, in the last couple of years. So yeah, the royalty payment was also spread out over the same amount of years, so yeah, it still wasn't really profitable enough. So back then, it was around 3 years ago I think, we changed the focus more to serious games, and we did a lot of iPad games and stuff. We did learn a lot of creating Adam's Venture. We learned how to actually finish a game, and that was really helpful, because right now we are working on a new project. And the project is called World of Diving. It's a game that is playable with the Oculus Rift. I hope you guys heard of it. It's the 3D glasses, so it's pretty cool to work on. It's a pretty cool project. It's not really Christian, but yeah, we still have the Christian values. We don't want any sex or drugs or violence or anything in the game. Just, yeah, I think the good values, the values that I like. Well, that sums it about up. For those of you interested to play Adam's Venture, like I said, you can buy it on Steam or the PlayStation Network. It's not the newest game anymore. Yeah, it dates around 2009. So, but I think it's a pretty funny game to play, and of course it has a nice story and maybe a little bit of my, how do you say, territory. But it has some cool graphics, I think. So, well, that was it. Thank you.
Any questions? We have questions. What is he using to develop now? What technology is he using to develop now? technology are you using to develop now?
Right now we're using the Unity engine. Back then we created Adventure in the Unreal 3 engine. Around the time that we switched to serious games, there wasn't the UDK, or how to say it, the Unreal engine right now has a really good way to get it, because you can pay like $10 a month, and you can use the whole engine. And back then you needed to pay like 10,000 a year or so. So yeah, back then it was better to switch to the Unity engine. And since we've been working with the Unity engine over the last 3 years and really developed ourselves and really made it our own engine, we right now we work in the Unreal engine. So sorry, the Unity engine. Yeah.
Were they really surprised with the market conditions of their product? I mean, it sounds like they had a dream, they put together a team, they funded it, they built some product, and then tried to sell it, and it was like, oops. Did you hear that?
Did you hear it? No, not really.
Okay.
How about we send How about that's a good idea.
Okay, cool.
That's perfect. My question is essentially, were you really surprised by the market conditions? It sounds like you had a dream, built a team, funded it, built a product, and then suddenly you realized, oh wait, you gotta sell it.
Yeah, that's a really nice question. Well, there is a kind of funny story to it, I think. My colleague Richard, who had the ID, there is this research company within the Netherlands, and they do research to all kind of markets. And apparently they said something like when there's Christian gaming, the game market, when it would, how do you say it? When it would go through the same process, the same process as the Christian music industry went. Music industry was really booming in the last couple of 10 years. And they said, if the Christian gaming industry does the same, yeah, there's going to be a lot of money and going to be a really big industry. But the strange thing was that later on, a couple of years ago, my colleague wanted to search where it came from, where he found the phrase and where he found the research thing, and he couldn't find it anymore, so we're not really sure if it's really existed.
You guys were kind of surprised.
Yeah, well, a little bit, because we really hoped that there was an audience, especially in the States, because we think that being Christian is a lot more accepted in the States, right, as far as we see it. And yeah, we just hoped that there was a market, but that's one of the things we learned right now in our new game. We're working on a game, World of Diving, like I said. And yeah, one of the first things we did was just do a market research and see if there's people interested and see if there's people who are willing to buy. So yeah, that's a bit of a difference.
Okay, well I wanted to mention that just because it's a common theme in some of the years I've been here, so you guys weren't the only ones that got burned.
Sorry, what then?
It seems to be a common theme in this conference, so confirming that was really what happened to you, and that you weren't the only ones to experience it.
Okay, cool.
Hello.
Hello.
I absolutely love your game. I think it's fantastic. I paid full retail for the first one, and then
Okay, thank you.
And it really inspired me because you guys did just an awesome job, especially the art. And I look at it as like the finest Christian game that I've ever seen, and so that encourages me to pursue excellence in what I'm doing. I love the story that you told. You had a lot of valleys as you've been pursuing this. I'm just wondering, how did that affect your faith? Because here you are probably thinking, you know, I'm doing this for God, I'm doing it for His kingdom, and it's not working out. It must have been probably a stressful time for your soul. So I'm just wondering if you could talk a little more about that. Some of us are going to
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a difficult subject for me. For me, it's not so difficult, but yeah, my colleague Richard, he lost his faith after the first the first studio went bankrupt, because he was putting a lot of trust in God, and it's good to put trust in God, of course, but yeah, he was just really disappointed when it didn't work out the way he thought it would go, because they really thought they were doing a good job. There were a lot of people interested, and then suddenly everything went bankrupt. So yeah, he kind of lost his faith. So it's that's a bit of setback, I think. It's, yeah. So does it answer your question?
Yeah. Just what about you?
Yeah. For me, well, for me, I'm still strong in my faith, and it only became stronger because I really love doing things for God, and I think getting the chance to create a Christian game is really cool, and it was a really cool project to work on. So, and I'm still really happy that right now I'm still at I still work at Vertigo Games, and we're doing a pretty good job, and I still think God supports us all the way. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. So.
Hey there. So,
Hi.
quick question. Two quick questions. What is it like at any of the Dutch universities teaching game development, game design, and do you guys have any influence there? And then are you doing anything with Reinhard Berkey's new Game On Fund?
What game? The Game Fund?
Yeah, the new game fund the Dutch government put together for $10 million. It's GameOn.com.
Okay.
Alright, so you look that up online. But in the meantime, though, any of the Dutch universities teaching game development, are you guys working with any of them?
Yeah, well, like I said a little bit, we have a lot of interns. So each year there are about 2 groups of interns at 2 semesters. I think the first one is about from somewhere around August to December, and the next one is throughout the rest of the year. So yeah, we work together with the schools like that. You know, we have their interns, and since we're located in a place called Rotterdam, there is a local game education nearby, and that's also another pretty nice thing to say, I think. For the Adams Venture, the game education, they bought the motion capture suit, so we used it for Adams Venture. So that was really pretty cool, and there was a big cooperation between us and the school. We used their students to help us create the motions and all the animations, so that was pretty nice.
Awesome. Are there any Christian schools or private schools or colleges there doing anything with game development at all? No,
not at all. I think the Christian school in the Netherlands is just, you've got the how do you say it? The first school where you go to?
Right, elementary.
Elementary school, that's it, yeah. That's a Christian school, and the rest is just all non-Christian, how do you say it, just for everybody. So it's not a specific Christian education anywhere. That being said, also, I think the level of game education in the Netherlands is not so good, to be honest. I think there's 1 or 2 good schools who actually do something with, people from the industry. There's a school in near the south of the country, and they really have people from all over the world flying in and telling things, and they learn new things. And when we have somebody who went to that study, you really notice that they know a lot more. They know a lot more programs. They know Maya. They know ZBrush. They know all the how do you say it, the terms like ambient occlusion and stuff. And so yeah, that's it could be a lot better in the Netherlands, I think.
Gotcha, okay. You guys have any questions? I'm going to type this in for you to take a look at and Skype while he asks the questions.
Okay.
Hi Vincent, my name's Paul.
Hi.
Actually, I don't have a question. I played through your first Adam Adventure when it came out, ordered it from overseas, so I had to wait a week for it to come over. My daughter said I played through it, and the artwork at the time was awesome. I just sat there kept playing going, this is great, So compliments to you, you guys did a great job. I hope you do more.
Cool, thanks. Great to hear. Yeah, the artwork of Adam's Venture, especially the first part, was, like I said, it was created in the bigger game. And yeah, the bigger game, we had some really good designers. It's a bit of a shame. I think if you search on the website, our website, you will find some references from the former game, because it has some really cool designs, and especially the case part in Adam's Venture. The guy who made it was really good. He worked on what's it called? We have one big studio in the Netherlands. I don't know what's it called, but it's a Sony studio, and they make some pretty cool games, and so yeah, good to hear. Thank you.
Question for you. You mentioned working with Steam as well as the PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
A lot of us probably have not worked with those kinds of platforms, at least with people with them. Give us some tips or hints of how it is to work with them, and some things that we can expect, and how they interact with designers.
Okay. Well, first of all, a lot of change on Steam lately, because around, I think it was about when we released the game on Steam. It was really different, because you could only get on Steam when you had a publisher. Yeah, the last year they changed it. They got Steam Early Access, Steam Greenlight. So yeah, it was possible for an indie developer to get directly on Steam. And I think if you want to do something on Steam, you should try to get to Greenlight. One of the other things I should say, and that's something we notice right now, is if you want to get some real sales on Steam, you need to be promoted. You need to be on the front page. Right, like I said, the game we're working on right now, we will release it on Early Access, but they're not featuring Early Access games anymore, so that's also a bit of a setback. So you need to do something unique. What we do is we work with the 3D glasses, and since Steam has their own virtual reality setup, their what's it called? I'm not really sure what it's called. It's Steam VR. Oh yeah, that's it. It's Steam VR. And yeah, we contacted Steam, and they were really interested in working with us, and yeah, implementing Steam VR in our game. So I think that's a pretty good way to get some promotion from Steam. So yeah, it's really hard just to try to get the Steam Greenlight and hope that you're greenlit and that you can get access on Steam. So. I should also mention that I'm the game designer, so I'm not really, I don't have a lot of contact with the guys from Steam. So it's, yeah, if you really have some more questions, you can just email us. Just email at Vertigo Games. I think Tim has my email address, and I'm really happy to answer some questions for you.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Hi.
My name's Edwin. Currently we're working on a prototype in Unity. I just wanted to ask, what do you think as far as, what do you like better as far as Unity and Unreal, since you use both, and what do you like better as far as the art in both, like the potential in each one?
Yeah, well, of course, Unreal has a lot better art style, and in Unreal it's really easy to create some cool art. It's just, it is already there. All the shaders are there, all the effects are there, all the, there is a lot in the game. And the problem with Unity is that it's just a basic engine. So if you want all kind of cool shaders, you need to have some programmers. Yeah, you need them to make the shaders. Right now there's a lot of people, the cool thing about Unity is there's a lot of people working on it on the asset store. I know you know it.
Yeah.
There's for instance like shaders. That's a bit of my league. There's this thing called Shader Forge, and kind of did the same as the Unreal Engine, just get a node-based shader thing so you can still create really cool shaders.
Yeah.
And I think we have some contacts with the guys from Unity, and they are working on the newest engine, the Unity 5 engine.
Yeah.
And I think that would make a really big improvement, because then you have the real-time global illumination, and there's the whole image-based lighting and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a lot better, I think.
Yeah, I saw Unity 5, and the 3D modeler that's on the project, he was like, it's possible that it'll meet up to the Unreal, but just gotta wait and see when it comes out, But that's one thing that I was dealing with when I was working in Unity now, is trying to come up with shaders. Like, I was trying to get some code and stuff and look up, on Google, trying to find shaders to put on the models and stuff, and it was kind of hard to find. So
yeah, you should really buy Shader Forge.
Shader Forge.
Shader Forge, yeah.
Forge. Yeah, I think I saw it. I wasn't really to pay that money at the time.
I can understand. The best part about it is it works like I said, it works kind of the same as the Unreal Engine. So you can just search on the internet for a shader of the UDK, and you can just copy the shader and Shader Forge, so you can have the same shaders in Unity. So I think it's pretty cool. So you can make your own cool shaders.
Okay. So you think your next project you're gonna go back to Unreal?
No, I think right now we've done so much in the Unity engine, we stick with the Unity engine.
Even for your next project?
Yeah, I think so, especially when Unity 5 is coming out. Yeah, right now it's still really buggy, so they're not releasing it real soon, I think. But yeah, I don't know. It's for us. Well, the truth be told, we work with the older Unreal engine even before the UDK, and the problem with the UDK and the Unreal engine, it's a shooter engine, and when you want things like our character Adam, he was able to hang on ledges and stuff. Yeah, that took a lot of effort to get it in there to program that. It was a lot of pain. How do you say it? It cost us a lot of pain to get it in there. So yeah. Yeah, but I think the new engine, the new Unreal engine is a lot better, and yeah, if you want to make cool looking games, I think the Unreal engine is a really big step, a really big first step. So yeah.
Okay, I appreciate you answering my questions, man. I'll get your email from Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, just send me emails now. Just send me an email and I will answer more questions.
Okay,
no problem.
great. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey, I guess I'm supposed to get this full screen for not full screen. How do I get this back?
You can just talk to the blue text
box. Okay. There we go. Alright. So I'm wondering, like, when you first got into this, or were deciding to move forward, I imagine there's a leap of faith, and wondering, like, and finances, budgeting, what...
Sorry, can you sit a little bit closer to the microphone?
So, wondering about, like, what do you see as, like, the if you're willing to share, what was your budget for the first game? How did you decide that? Did you need more? And then also, kind of in conjunction with that, the money seems to be a limitation for me in terms of the leap of faith to go forward with a project. So,
yeah.
I'm going to speak to that.
Yeah, well, money, it's really bad, because if you want to create a Christian game, you need the root of all evil, you need money. That's it. What we really learned is when you want to create a cool game, and you need money, and if you want to sell the game, you need more money. For the bigger games, I know, like Call of Duty, they spent around, I remember it was one of the older Call of Duties, but they spent around $20 to $30 million to create a game, and they spent the same amount to promote the game. So yeah, you need a lot of money to create and sell games. The way we are doing it, since we are a relatively small studio, what we do is on the side we do some serious game projects, and that helped us fund that helped us funding with the funding of Adam's Venture, and right now of the title we're working on. So that's the way we do it. Just do a little bit of both.
Okay. And I guess with that was like, how, when do you, what do you use to like confirm or like the faithfully getting into a project, or like what confirms you to move forward? Were there any reservations on should I, shouldn't I? But you obviously went forward with it despite what I imagine were kind of obstacles that would have maybe deterred you.
Yeah, well, especially around Adventure 1, we really believed in the whole idea of selling a Christian game. And around that time, when we sold Adventure 1, we were looking what to do next. And then, like I said, my colleagues got a job at an educational job somewhere. They made a lot of money for 2 days a week, enough to support all three of us for the rest of the week. So yeah, that was pretty nice. So I saw that as a little bit of a compliment from God. So yeah, this is why we just wanted to create a second game, especially because we thought, the first game is just a collection of the old game. We just finished it real quick, and we thought we can do a better job and just make a bit better and bigger game. But yeah, so that's why we went on. And like I said, the Leap of Faith for the third game, we just thought it's not profitable anymore, so we wanted to stop. But back then, our publisher, they wanted to pay half of the production cost, so that was really nice. And I think on the first adventure, like you said, like for cost, I think I'm not really sure how much that was, because it was just we just finished the game. For the second part, well, just think that we had a studio around 3 people who needed who had some salary. We rented a place. There was just one guy from who did the sound. We also needed to pay him, and we worked on it for around a year. So I think that's the price that were the total cost. So
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Hey there. So I just finished playing through the game a couple months ago with my kids. So all the kids really enjoyed it, and I texted them to see if they had any questions for you. They didn't have any questions, but they did say. So one of the kids said they wanted to tell you that they really like the spiders, and they really like the humor of the game. So
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, we got all 3 of your games. Enjoyed all of them. I'm curious, now that you've given us a little bit of the backstory, do you have more content from the original IP that you're still thinking about reusing in another product? Is there something you got planned for that? Is there more adventure stories or something new in the plan for reusing all that IP? Or can you even talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. Well, the first thing, we're not planning on doing more of the games like Adventure. We really would like to, but yes, like I said, it's not paying enough. So for us, we need to but what we're doing with the whole content, because like I said, we worked on it for 3 to 4 years, so there is a lot of content. I think there's around, in total there are about 12 levels, I think, all the size of Adventure 2. So there's a lot of content and a lot of different environments. Like there's a whole futuristic city, and there's a cave, and there's a whole wasteland, and there's a broken city underneath a big city, and it's a lot. And right now what we're doing, we're selling the whole content on the asset store. There's the Unity, the engine we're working with. They have an asset store, so you can sell products on there, and we sell them. So that's what we do with it right now.
Thank you.
And of course, in the game we are working on right now, World Diving. We use a little bit of the content in there. So. Cool.
Any other questions? We took a poll. They all want to know what happened to the dog.
Yeah, we don't know what happened to the dog.
Could that be a mobile game like type of thing?
Yeah, maybe Digger will be back, but yeah, it was really weird. I think halfway through the second game, we just realized that Digger wasn't there anymore. So, it was was just because my colleague Richard, he forgot to put it in there. So it was in the first. I think it was in the. It started with the intro, but when there was the final level, the door opening in Adventure 1. How do you say it? It is gameplay-wise, it's a new scene. It's not the same. We don't use the same environment. We use a different environment because there's all kind of different events happening. And if you put them all in one place, it's nobody knows what to do or where things go. So I think he just forgot to copy Digger. So yeah.
Any more questions, guys? Great. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're going to put your contact information up and you guys emails and stuff is okay?
Yeah, cool.
All right. Great. We'll go.